Earlier this week, the Osseo Volleyball program took time to honor an Osseo team that came away with one of the school's most historic victories 50 years ago. Chaz Moots has the story.
Watching from overhead at every Osseo Volleyball home game is the first ever Minnesota Volleyball High School State Championship band. On Wednesday night, members of that 1974 team returned back home to watch for themselves and receive the recognition of their accomplishment from a half-century ago.
In some ways it feels like 50 years, but in a lot of ways it just seems like yesterday. You know, because the girls, when we get together, there's the same nice girls that I coached at the time, and those years go by very, very fast.
Back in the early 70s, high school volleyball wasn't what it is today. Net sagged down in the middle, players had to share the same uniforms as softball and basketball teams, and some facilities were less than ideal.
The year before we won state tournament, we went to a local place to play, and I think it must have been an elementary gym because all our sets hit the ceiling. They had to adjust to that. I mean, I think it's hard to imagine.
Despite the tough conditions, the 74 Osseo volleyball team made history when they swept Bloomington Kennedy in the first ever state championship. On their way to a title, they had the Osseo community backing them from day one.
It was fun to play because the school got so behind us. We had big crowds at matches, we had newspaper coverage, and for a girls' sport that was a big deal back then.
50 years later, and the 74 Osseo team is still proud of what they accomplished, and they're just as proud about how far the sport that they pioneered has now come.
People have had to put up a lot of fights along the way and convince people to do things, and it definitely has helped that people have some strong attitudes about forwarding the sport.
We were really trying to spread volleyball all the way from the beginning. And so the way volleyball is today makes all of us really happy. I think because it was difficult, we had to fight for space and all of those kinds of things, it made us closer than ever. They taught me everything about commitment and hard work and caring about each other, and they're wonderful girls.
In Osseo, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.